Are your business teams waiting for days or weeks for analysts to deliver reports? Is your current BI tool too slow or complex for everyday business users? We have Dr. Ravi, the Senior Director of Data Science at Impetus, talking about how businesses are shifting their focus from static dashboards to actionable insights, and how Impetus can unlock the true potential of GenBI for your business.
With the BI specifically, we've been using BI for over 2 decades or more, and typically this has evolved with all the data sets and with the complexity of the data growing. The tools and everything around that has also the ecosystem has grown. And as you can see, there are challenges in traditional BI. Typically users are just waiting, especially non-business users who don't have the technical know-how, and they may wait on IT to kind of help them kind of set up the systems and make them access the data. And also any enterprise that's using these kind of systems, people come in and create new dashboards or new SQL queries and so on and so forth the backend, and they kind of start building up, and that leads to duplication and a lot of unused reports that kind of pile up, and that is a huge clutter which kind of creates complexity and maintenance costs, right? So how do we kind of overcome that? So that's a additional challenge. And typically this also means that the people who are actually involved in managing these tools are spending a lot of time kind of maintaining them, and a lot of effort that goes into managing all of that systems and ensuring that they align with the data and keeping all of the data fresh and reports fresh and so forth. So there's a lot of overhead in terms of being able to kind of keep everything up to date, because always there's pressure to track all the reports and latest trends and KPIs, as both Jose and Boris pointed out. And this is something that's very critical. You may want to kind of know something that's happening with your data and the outside trends that are shaping your specific industry. And you would be hard pressed to find a way to turn that around very quickly with the current systems, because they are all fairly static. They are rigid in the sense that it's hard to kind of make them work effectively in a very quick amount of time, because it takes people and means it takes expertise to kind of create that. So there are a lot of challenges around this, and primarily the idea is to make this more reactive, and that's a challenge that's hard to overcome. But we are at an inflection point from that regard, and addressing all of these challenges with the rigidness, cost, time, static nature, and manual efforts that required, which I've listed here, is where I think GenBI is poised really to transform the whole ecosystem. And on the next slide, I will start kind of addressing some of these aspects here. As you can see, the traditional BI is kind of now slowly kind of giving way to GenBI, which is Generative BI, which is BI or with the Generative AI at the back end. And this is helping enterprises move from dashboards and managing all of that to actions. Like towards the end of his presentation, Boris talked about decision intelligence, and that's something that's very important, because how are actions going to drive your business to kind of perform better? That agentic AI is definitely part of it. And typical GenBI features, they have reporting capabilities. Prompt engineering is very, very important for driving all of this, because that's what is driving the large language models. And accessing the data, which is very critical. So having the pipelines and all the engineering plumbing that needs to be done, so you're kind of able to access the right data at the right time. And all of that is something that's critical. So you're able to answer the questions that business users and others are asking. And typically non-business users have a way to create and SQL and quickly, and especially if they are experts at that. But how does that percolate, and how does that transform the organization? And that's a hard thing to do, and which is where a lot of specific enterprises are struggling, because it's not easy to kind of take this very niche expertise knowledge and convert it to a form that non-business users can drive the transformation. And business users are not experts in SQL. They may not understand the nuances of stored procedures and other things. So having a system that just responds in natural language is where that can really add value. And that's where GenBI comes in, because it helps kind of create this whole glue and enable that seamless integration, right? So it is very important for these systems to work together effectively. So if I ask a question like, why are my sales going down, in the last quarter or so, it has to kind of look at everything around that and not just kind of look at just your data. And also the question of unknown unknowns, and that's only possible if you contextualize data. And this is something Boris talked about, right? So this is very important because you would not know anything about that unless you have contextualized your data, you have connected various things in your enterprise and seen patterns, and that happens through generative AI at the backend. So that helps kind of bring the cost savings and enable you to kind of deliver this more effectively. Now, also, the insights that are generated will drive more effective business outcomes, and that is significantly better than current BI systems can offer. And overall, the other things such as reduced time to value you see here, and using modern technology and data literacy, all of these are consequential items that will follow from the capabilities of GenBI, powered by AI, Gen AI at the back end. And at the base of all of these are large language models, and you have a variety of them. So choosing the right one is again a critical task. Now, tools such as QuickSight come bundled with those, so it's easy for you to kind of be transparent and use whatever is plugged in. Now, on the next slide, I'll talk about how to kind of take a step towards kind of enabling the broader ecosystem, right? So, because what happens is enterprises are sitting a lot of data, and it's not easy place. Maybe in legacy tools and platforms. And Impetus actually has a solution which I think Jeff mentioned early on, which is essentially LeapLogic, which is a way for enterprises to take all of this legacy data logic and migrate that to modern platforms like QuickSight or even other tools. It's essentially from a source to a destination. You see many of those sources and destinations here. It enables an assessment and transformation and validation, and there's a lot of pieces to this. It's a complex tool that we have. We help enterprises really derive value from this, because this enables them to transform the whole ecosystem. And dashboards and migrating all of that is very, very key part of this, because this is how we are going to help customers, and we are helping customers today migrate from legacy platforms. They keep their whole data and the dashboards, but at the back end, all of the transformation happens and enables you to use tools like QuickSight or even build something on your own more effectively, right? So, and this can be on any platform. So it's agnostic to the platform, but we are happy to kind of help customers take their data and logic and move that to the modern systems. And once we are able to do that, it helps kind of on the next slide, I'll start talking about how we kind of enable customers to start deriving value from these systems. There are multiple ways, right? One is you can use tools like Amazon QuickSight and Q, because that supercharges your existing BI solutions and leverages GenBI technology. And we are, like I said, we are agnostic to the tools and platforms. We are happy to help customers with their existing ecosystems and derive the best value from the tools they're using, and at the same time kind of convert all of the legacy systems with LeapLogic powered migration and enable them to use these modern platforms. At the other end, it's also using the modernizing the traditional BI. So the way that can happen is that you can actually use these GenBI platforms to derive more actionable insights and kind of build something that that works best for you. And the third one is kind of a hybrid platform structure where you can augment your existing systems and at the same time kind of use the new tools and combine these through the Gen AI backend system. So essentially, you are kind of combining the capability to do not only just the existing BI scripts and so forth, but they also do predictive models. So, for example, Jose talked about, for example, what if scenarios. And you may look at outliers and anomalies that are typically not described in your data, but you may be able to project them forward. So your queries and so forth can typically be, transparent to those possibilities and be able to kind of suggest new things to you. So that's a very powerful capability we can also build for enterprises. So essentially, it is designing and building those, implementing those bespoke GenBI solutions, which might be valuable to customers. So these dashboards are all prompt driven, so we can actually use natural language to drive that interaction. And then on the next slide, you will see that there is a reference architecture we kind of bring to the table, centered around LeapLogic, which I talked about. But you would go from all the data and everything that you have, including maybe a knowledge base that's driving your enterprise today, and it may be kind of way to take that and start using the modern BI tools, and then overlaying all the semantic models, which is very critical. I think Boris touched on this early on, because the semantic layer is what enables you to derive that intelligence, which is what our reference architecture supports. And it does that through all of the pieces that you see here. And especially to enable our customers to derive value, we have a user experience capability, and the UI UX team is plugged into all of this GenBI solutions and tools. So this reference architecture helps us to derive value, provide value to our customers, being able to take the existing systems and also build new ones for them. And on the next slide, I want to kind of touch upon the framework for these solutions that we have delivered, and how we have helped our customers derive value. And here are some examples, right? So what we have done is European telecom leader, for whom we essentially migrated from MicroStrategy and Tableau to QuickSight. And this is a very interesting scenario, because the overall reduced technical debt almost by 25%, and the migration is all kind of accelerated through LeapLogic. And this is something that we are seeing time and again with our customers, because that is the way this adds value. And again, with enabling the overall use case to be kind of resolved, and with 100% auto assessing MSCR and Tableau. So there are a lot of components to this that we kind of bring to the table. And lastly, for this customer, we enabled the real-time insights of Amazon Q. Partly that was all baked into the tool that comes with QuickSight, and that enabled us to kind of derive these scalable GenAI dashboards, right? So this is something that's very important, as you can see, for customers.
Transform legacy systems with the power of GenAI BI with Impetus. Unlock faster, smarter, and more accessible insights across your enterprise.